So what am I quitting? There's really three thoughts when it comes in terms of quitting. Again, I was reading this great book, From Good to Great, and it talks about how great businesses, they don't focus on doing more, they focus on eliminating what they're not doing. A to-do list or a what not to do list is just as important as a to-do list, if not more important. Here are three things that I am quitting as well. So first thing, I quit reading for pleasure. Like I mentioned earlier, it was just really, really hard for me to sit down and spend 10 minutes reading a book. It was really hard to justify that. I realize right now I'm in a hustle mode. I'm in an action mode, right? So I decided, hey, adapt into it. Like sometimes, have you ever had those days where it's like some days you just want to daydream or have a more grandiose vision? Other days you just want like rise and grind, right? And so for me, I've been spending less time reading and more time implementing. I actually even took that off my to-do checklist in the morning, my morning routine where I normally read for about 10 to 60 minutes, right? 60 for an hour. I decided to cut that out altogether. If I do read, it's for a purpose. And like I said, I went through those books as well that I showed you guys earlier. I do read, it's for a purpose. Like I said earlier, I read a copywriting book because I wanted to write killer headlines. I wanted to do a positioning book so I could really position my pitch when it comes in terms of high ticket sales and all that sort of stuff too. And guess what? The best part is I don't beat myself up if I don't read at all because I made the decision up front not to read as well. I mean, everybody will tell you knowledge is great, okay? But it's applied knowledge and the action that you take from knowledge that's going to get you to where you want to go. You can think about a 6-figure, 7-figure business all day, but unless you put the finger to the keyboard or the pen to the paper, if you're an OG, then nothing is ever going to happen. So that's kind of like, that's one of the things. It's important to realize that when you're in these phases, like when you are in hustle mode, that you recognize it so you can prioritize the things that matter. Balance is within the extremes. Like I was watching Gary Vee the other day, and he was talking about how, like, double down on your business, right? Who says you can't go back to your business, go back to writing your book 3 months down the line after you stashed all this cash? You can spend 2 years doubling down on it. Sometimes I feel like if you do a little bit of everything, you get nothing done. So it's just food for thought. Second thing I quit recently was my Hustle Academy. I put that on the back burner. I might upload the lead magnet of how to find your perfect side hustle just so that you guys can have that. But thought a lot about what Alex Becker said and talking about his focus on being great. And while I can help people, like I mentioned earlier, while I can help people start their own side hustle, I want more experience, maybe up to 5 to 10 years before I even open up something like this. When I do this, I want to make sure that I have 100% focus and that I can help people, not at just like the white belt level, but at the black belt, like at the higher, more advanced levels too. And that only comes from one thing: growing my businesses, right? So that's the number one thing. Number 3, I also quit working weekends. So, I told you about what I'm double downing on. I'm double downing on kick-ass investing. I'm doubling downing on long form content for YouTube. I'm double downing on, my high ticket sales academy as well, right? Or high ticket sales clients as well. Since I'm doubling down, it's taking a lot out of me. So I need time to rest and recover. So I double down my output on the weekdays, and then I completely turn off on the weekends. I typically do I just shut off my phone. Not to say I binge watch like shows, but I catch up on shows that were content that I really like. So the other day I was watching some gaming things. I was watching some Ask Gary V. I was watching Alex Becker, just really thinking grandiose things. I also read Good to Great, and I took myself on a sad Corona date, I guess. Like I went in my car and drove to get some great vegan Thai food that Stephanie Sue recommended, and chilled in my car and just wrote out some thoughts. And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm shooting this today, because I came up with that initial idea to do something like the weekly hustle, to take something that is already existing and turn it into a show, right? I want to make it as interactive as possible. That is something that came out from taking weekends off. We talk about hustle, hustle, hustle. Sometimes we forget, hey, we need to take 10 steps back, man. Sometimes the answer isn't to take more work, or do more work. You gotta allow yourself time to think, time to write, time to be creative, plan out processes, big ideas, write down your purpose on this planet. 2 tools that I love using: Notion. If you go refugiehustle.com/Notion, if you go to refugiehustle.com/Airtable, and Whimsical, maybe refugiehustle.com/Whimsical. I'll leave the links below. But if you want these tools, these are my favorite tools. I also use Miro too, but haven't been using that as much. I like Whimsical a lot more, and just writing down my ideas. So those are the 3 things that I've been quitting. How I'm challenging myself. So like I said, there's really 4 things that I've been challenging myself this past